All right. So for my final project, I decided to do a series of mini games where each game pertains to a specific theory. And on my screen, you can see the series of mini games that I created, or the Mini Game Gauntlet, as I call it. So let's look at the back end of one of these first. This is a crossword puzzle. And one second. Okay. So here we have, sorry for the fast scroll. We have what the crossword puzzle will look like generally. So these are how it will be laid out. But let's look over the concepts of, or the questions around the concept. So in this crossword puzzle, we have different prompts where it'll tell you motivation that originates inside an individual to engage in a task due to personal interest, with the answer being intrinsic. That answer will then be put in here to help fill out the crossword puzzle. So let's take a look at some of these other questions that we have in regards to domain relevant, talking about skills and knowledge tied to a field used to produce novel outputs, creativity skills, organizational motivation, supervisory support, resources, and each one of these pertaining to the same concept. So this is one of the crossword puzzles. There are 6 challenges in total. And let's just scroll through so you can kind of see how this was built, and you can see the answers and the prompts for each one. Management practices for motivation, constructive feedback. So this crossword has 20 questions in total. All right, let's move on to the next game. And a little bit later, we'll go into trying to do the crosswords and other things. So you can see what a live session looks like, or you can go and try and play the game yourself and see if you can do it without needing any of the answer sheet that this video or the attachment for the final submission provides. So that first crossword puzzle was Amabel's componential theory of creativity. This other crossword puzzle relates to change management and the stages of response. So we can see here, we go into, let's go back into the edit mode. All right, so this is the theory of change management. This one has a total of 15 prompts that will feed into this other crossword. So really trying to test the knowledge of the concepts in a creative way to try and spur memory, as well as having the enjoyment of playing a game. So we can see we have goal setting, robust methodology, innovation fatigue, vetting, iteration. And then as we go further up, we have other more straightforward terms such as adaptation, resistance, acceptance, depression, bargaining, anger, denial, and shock. So those are all the terms for this iteration of the crossword puzzle, helping to spur the concepts around change management. Let's move into the next game. So this one is a prototyping explorer. Basically, it's a matching game. You can kind of see what it looks like right here, where you click and drag to match pairs of words to their definitions. So this is, excuse me, an overview of 8 prototype concepts. Let's click into it. Let's go into the edit so you can see the back end of it. All right, and here we have, again, roughly another 15 or so concepts in regards to the prototyping areas of the chapter, in regards to showing user experience, A/B testing, audience, as well as other digital prototypes and Wizard of Oz prototypes, types of testing, and as that relates to the 8 prototype concepts. And let's see, let's go into so that's 3 of the mini games. And then we have Froggy Jumps. This one is very fun. And we will hop into that in a minute. So here we can see these are the questions for the frog mini game, and you can see the different answers here. So relating to the concept for the Froggy Jump mini game. Just gonna click into each of these so you can see how the options are and the answers. And for the frog mini game, I believe each of the questions is timed. So you have a certain amount of seconds to answer each question before it will move on. And this one has a total of 20 questions. All right, so let's look at what that looks like. All right, and it'll show the questions in random order. So we click that, it'll hop that over. What are the 2 indices that were created? Click over there. And then you kind of see generally how this is. And if you miss, that is what the animation looks like. So you click there, and you kind of get the idea over here what the Froggy Jump game will, or experience will be like. So I'm kind of just quickly clicking through. I'm not exactly looking at the, the questions, more so just wanting to demonstrate, what happens when you get it wrong, what happens when you get it right, and how you progress through the Froggy Jump game. And if you get too many wrong, it'll give you a game over. So that's the mini game of the Froggy Jump. Let's move on to, I created also a word search. This one is honestly pretty simple, so that's why I did 6. There wasn't necessarily any particular prompts for these. It's really just words and finding the words in this. So word bank and then looking at the words. So, but there isn't necessarily anything that questions any understanding of concept. This is more of a fun one that I included, but that is also why I did 6 instead of just 5. So let's move on to the last one, which is the fill in the blank, covering the 5 tools of conscious creativity. So let's go back here. Let's look at the back end again. And then for this one, you get to choose which terms you want to blank out so that people can then try and choose. Some of them have wrong answers listed, some of them don't. So just needing to know what the term is. So I thought that this was a good one to choose to really help spur the memory and understanding of this concept. So we have by association, we have the Arthur Koestler coined term of by association. I'm just going to click through some of these so you can kind of see how they are structured for the content purposes of this. And there are 15 questions, excuse me, for this fill in a blank. So let's look at what that looks like. See if it'll let me click that. There you go. So you can kind of see what it looks like when you get it right and when you don't. And there you go. So this is the Mini Game Gauntlet, and I won't go through, the live version, but you are certainly welcome to. And the way that you do that is you go to game.educaplay.com, and the pin that you put in is 216766. And then once you click enter, it'll start you on one of the games. The order of the games is randomized, but feel free to play the live versions and give it a shot yourself and see if you can answer all the questions without needing the answers. But that is the Mini Gaming Gauntlet for the final project of ideation, creativity, and innovation for this course. Thank you so much.